Alright, guys. Okay. After having a really good pay-per-view like you did with TLC had practically the best championship matches that I have seen on a filler pay-per-view in a very long time. Everything was paced really well. And honestly, the matches went on a decent length in my humble opinion. The Divas match really impressed me. And it impressed the crowd. The crowd actually respected every person in every match. I'm not going to lie, the filler matches were kind of meh. I've already made that statement on my review that I just put up. But when you actually have a really good pay-per-view, you want to have an even better Raw or something that actually ties into the next pay-per-view. This Raw didn't do that. I could care less about any of the matches that actually happened tonight. I tried to care, but I just didn't. It seemed like to me that with some of the matches that they had last night, they missed the bar, especially when it came to Daniel Bryan. When it came to the whole Wyatt family and everything with Daniel Bryan, they had missed the bar so many times that I could care less about it. And it just kind of dulled everything out for me. Now, I will say this. In the beginning of the show, when they actually did have this, little mini ceremony and celebrating Randy Orton, blah, 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 it was actually it was nice to have that pomp and circumstance. They usually have that pomp and circumstance right after the actual champion wins the match. And it's supposed to be one of the biggest matches in the pay-per-view, which in my opinion still should have been held out for the Royal Rumble. But honestly, that match as well as the ending match was the only interesting thing. Now, when you actually have the fans constantly chanting for Daniel Bryan, it shows that they want Daniel Bryan to be champion. Even though people think he's not a good draw because he doesn't have the look. That can change. Or it can be to the point where people can get used to it. But it's the fact that people really want Daniel Bryan to be champion and not have him be champion for 2 hours or 5 minutes or 2 seconds or whatever. And it showed tonight when John Cena pretty much pointed out Daniel Bryan to be the next challenger for Randy Orton. Now, the one thing that puzzles me is that the Authority did everything in their power to back down when it came to Daniel Bryan. And now the Authority out of the blue is saying, well, he actually had a fight with the Wyatt family, but he lost the battle with the Wyatt family. Even though it was a great match, and it was, he lost. It's like the Authority doesn't really know exactly what they want to do. And they keep going in different directions. When it came to anything corporate back in the day, and yes, I'm going to mention the Attitude Era. I'm going to mention the Ruthless Aggression Era. I'm even going to mention the McMahon-Helmsley Era. Anything that mentioned or anything that involved the corporation, there was literally no let up at all. No let up with the Authority. The Authority was one character and one character alone, and it never deviated. For some reason, the Authority is constantly deviating whether or not to do this, whether or not to do that. They're either neutral or they're hardcore. They don't know which way they want to go. Like, they're either hardcore heel or they're just straight up neutral. Like, they just don't really know which direction they want to go. And it's bugging me character-wise. But I will say this. It made sense to actually have this match. And that match was a pay-per-view worthy match. I am not going to lie. I love the match between Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. It literally it literally got you on the edge of your seat. It had a crappy finish, no doubt. A very cowardly heel finish, which bugs me to no end. I would have rather have interference from the Authority than have Randy Orton do what he did. But honestly, it was one of the best matches that I have seen on Raw in a while. I know I've said that many times. But after a pay-per-view, they actually did a good job with this match. Unfortunately, I could care less about any other matches. And the one thing that puzzled me the most is this. Last night, we pretty much saw Brodus Clay pretty much defect from Tons of Funk. He completely went heel last night. We know that he completely went heel. And I guess it was supposed to literally complete the circle of heelness, if that's the way I can say it. But it's supposed to make him a full heel tonight on Raw. But honestly, in my opinion, when you saw what he did and you saw the Funkadactyls leave, it didn't make any sense for the Funkadactyls as well as Sweet Tea to be in the same ring with him after what happened last night. It would have made sense for him to come out by himself to his own music after what he did to them. But for some reason, the Funkadactyls came out as well as Sweet Tea, and that made no sense. They kind of messed up the story for me. If you want to make the storyline a little bit more realistic, you gotta stick to what you did the previous night. And I know nobody on the storyline board has amnesia. This is something that you already wrote out. So when you wrote out for the Funkadactyls to walk out as well as Sweet Tea to walk out, keep them gone the whole night, or literally, or actually have them watch from the top of the ramp and not have them come down. It makes perfect sense to me. Because now, I guess Brodus Clay is going to be feuding with Xavier Woods. And it's great for Xavier Woods as well as for his win last night. But honestly, the whole storyline thing didn't make any sense. His deviation made sense. He ended up becoming frustrated for the fact he was losing attention. That made sense. But it didn't make any sense for the Funkadactyls and Sweet Tea to be there. As for all the storylines that happened last night, it just seems to me that they all had that for some reason the people on the creative team had amnesia and they just went on to things as usual, but they completely forgot how things ended the previous night, and they had the actual matches play out in the ring like it never happened. That's the one thing that kind of bugged me the entire night. But I will say this, the final event, the main event, did kind of set up the direction that they're going to take with Randy Orton. So I'm not going to hate on that too much. Even though I do not like his neurotic character. I do not like the neurotic heel they're turning him into. It bugs me to no end. I really miss the Legend Killer because the Legend Killer had a lot more edge. He literally can go any direction and people will still fear him because he will bring the pain and he will bring it every night. But now, all he does is whine, complain, and scream. And the one thing I know is that if a character screams, it shows they absolutely have nothing to say. And nobody wants to hear you. But there's also another difference that I had noticed. John Cena, in every single arena he's been in, he has been booed. And every single time he speaks, he has been booed. But tonight, he silenced the crowd. And I don't know how long it's been. Probably like, what, 7 years? 8 maybe? Since anyone has silenced him? I mean, has been silenced when he speaks? That happens like when Bray Wyatt actually speaks. The entire crowd listens. When John Cena spoke, the entire crowd listened. I don't know if anybody has noticed that, but that hasn't happened with John Cena's character in a very long time, and that is a good thing because he's been booed in every single arena he has been in for many, many years, and it's a good thing to actually see this happen. Maybe this is a good thing for him. Not only that, nobody can complain that John Cena has been in everybody's face, stuffed down their throats, because what did he do? He backed off. He literally gave other people the chance to actually shine. He gave Daniel Bryan a chance to shine. He let Randy Orton do what he had to do. He let Randy Orton take the belts. He's a part of Breakfast Club too, and he is the face of WWE. So nobody can talk about what John Cena does anymore because John Cena is backing off for other folks. And whether or not you hear rumors what goes on behind stage, you don't know. That's hearsay. You have no idea. But what I see on my television is that John Cena is backing off for other stars to go ahead of him. So nobody can really talk about him anymore. Nobody in the YWC can say anything about John Cena anymore unless they have something legit to say, in my humble opinion. That's how I feel about it. But honestly, guys, my overall thoughts of the show is that this show was meh. The only thing that was really interesting about it was the end. And I really didn't like the way it ended. But I have to say the match pretty much had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I'm not going to lie. But honestly, guys, I want to hear your personal opinion about tonight's Raw. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send a video response to how you feel about Raw went. And I want to hear what you would do with it if it was bad or what you would do with it was good. I want to get a discussion going. This is Ninja Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.